In an age of unprecedented global upheaval and uncertainty, the time has come to embrace a bold new vision, one that transcends the limitations of our current paradigms and unlocks the infinite potential of human consciousness. For too long, we have been confined by the narrow confines of a materialistic worldview, trapped in a web of beliefs and assumptions that have obscured the deeper truths of our interconnected existence. But now, as the very foundations of our reality begin to shift and crumble, we are being called to awaken to a more expansive, holistic understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. Through the pioneering work of visionary thinkers, researchers, and spiritual practitioners, the veils are being lifted, and we are catching glimpses of a breathtaking new frontier, one where the boundaries between the seen and unseen, the material and the mystical, the individual and the collective, begin to dissolve. In these transformative times, we are being invited to step into a radically different way of being, one that recognizes our fundamental nature as embodied, infinite beings, imbued with the power to shape the very fabric of reality through the sheer force of our consciousness and intention. This is not merely a fanciful notion or a lofty spiritual ideal, but a profound and tangible truth that is being corroborated by cutting-edge scientific research, ancient wisdom traditions, and the direct, lived experiences of those who have dared to venture beyond the confines of our conventional understanding. From the insights of quantum physics, which reveal the fundamentally interconnected and indeterminate nature of the universe, to the sage teachings of indigenous cultures, which have long honored the sacred and sentient nature of all life. The stage is being set for a profound shift in our collective consciousness, one that holds the potential to heal our fractured world and catalyze a new era of harmony, abundance, and co-creation. And at the heart of this transformation lies the human being, a miraculous, multidimensional vessel of infinite potential, endowed with the capacity to not only perceive the deeper truths of existence, but to actively shape and participate in the unfolding of a more beautiful world. Through the embodiment of expanded states of awareness, the activation of latent intuitive and energetic faculties, and the integration of spiritual and practical wisdom, we are being called to become conscious, co-creative agents of evolution, pioneers in the exploration of the limitless frontiers of consciousness, and the practical application of these expanded capacities in service of the greater good. This is no small task, to be sure, for it requires a profound commitment to personal growth, a willingness to confront the shadows and limitations of our conditioning, and the cultivation of an unwavering dedication to the well-being of all life. But it is a call that is echoing across the globe, resonating within the hearts and minds of those who are ready to answer the summons and become the architects of a new paradigm. Within the pages of this book, you will embark on a profound and transformative journey, one that will challenge your most deeply held assumptions, expand the horizons of your understanding, and unlock the infinite potential that lies dormant within your very being. Through a synthesis of cutting-edge research, visionary insights, and practical wisdom teachings, you will be guided on a path of transcendence and integration, empowered to become a conscious, co-creative participant in the unfolding of a new era of harmony, abundance, and collective thriving. You will delve into the mysteries of consciousness, exploring the realms of expanded awareness, intuitive faculties, and energetic intelligence. You will discover new models of reality that shatter the limitations of our conventional worldviews, opening the door to startling revelations about the nature of time, space, and our fundamental interconnectedness with all of life. And through it all, you will be invited to apply these insights and capacities in tangible, transformative ways, weaving the divine into the mundane, aligning your thoughts and actions with the deeper currents of evolution, and becoming a catalyst for positive change in your own life and in the world around you. This is no small task, to be sure, but it is a call that is resonating within the hearts and minds of those who are ready to answer the summons and become the architects of a new paradigm. For in unlocking the infinite potential of human consciousness, we unlock the key to a future that is infused with hope, harmony, and the limitless possibilities of our shared existence. So come join us on this profound and exhilarating journey. Let us walk this path together, side by side, as we explore the uncharted frontiers of consciousness and catalyze the transformation that our world so desperately needs. For in doing so, we not only change the course of our own lives, but we also contribute to the healing and regeneration of our entire planet. Chapter 1. The Origins of Suffering. You have within you a longing, a deep yearning for something more, an inner voice that whispers of a greater truth beyond the veil of your everyday existence. This restlessness, this dissatisfaction with life as you know it, is not a flaw or a weakness, but rather the first stirrings of an awakening, a call to embark on a profound journey of self-discovery. The root of this suffering, this sense of lack or incompleteness, lies not in your external circumstances, but in the very structure of your own mind. You have become trapped in a web of thoughts, beliefs, and conditioned patterns that have obscured your true nature, your inherent wholeness and perfection. These mental constructs, fueled by the ego's constant need for validation and control, have led you down a path of chronic unhappiness, anxiety, and a perpetual seeking for fulfillment outside of yourself. Yet, embedded within this very suffering is the seed of your liberation. For it is only when you are willing to face the darkness of your own inner landscape, to truly feel the depth of your pain and dissatisfaction, that you can begin to transcend it. This is the first step on the journey to awakening. The recognition that the root cause of your suffering lies not in your circumstances, but in the way you relate to them. As you courageously confront the conditioned patterns and limiting beliefs that have kept you trapped in a cycle of suffering, you will begin to glimpse the profound truth that lies at the heart of your being. The realization that you are not your thoughts, your emotions, or your physical form, but rather the pure, boundless consciousness that underlies all of these transient phenomena. This awareness, this direct experience of your own essential nature, is the key to unlocking the power of the present moment and reclaiming the freedom that has always been yours. But this awakening does not come without its challenges. The ego, that persistent voice in your head that has ruled your life for so long, will resist this shift with all its might. It will try to convince you that your suffering is necessary, that you are incomplete or unworthy, and that you must continue to seek fulfillment in the endless pursuit of external goals and achievements. The ego's grip on your psyche is strong, for it has been conditioned over a lifetime to maintain its position of dominance and control. However, as you begin to recognize the ego for what it is, a conditioned mental construct rather than your true self, you will start to loosen its hold on your consciousness. You will begin to see the futility of chasing after the endless stream of thoughts, desires, and aversions that the ego generates, and instead turn your attention inward to the silent, spacious awareness that has always been present, even in the midst of your suffering. This process of awakening is not an easy one. It requires a willingness to let go of the familiar, the comfortable, and the known. It demands that you step out of the river of your conditioning and face the unknown, with all its uncertainty and vulnerability. Yet, paradoxically, it is only in this surrender, this letting go of the ego's desperate grasping, that you will find the freedom and peace you have been seeking. As you continue to cultivate this state of presence, this direct connection to the power of the now, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your perception and experience of life. The constant chatter of the mind will start to subside, and you will find yourself increasingly able to respond to the unfolding events of your life with clarity, compassion, and inner calm. The endless cycle of craving and aversion that has fueled your suffering will begin to dissolve, and you will find yourself increasingly able to simply be, to rest in the spacious awareness that is your true nature. This is the essence of the power of being present in the moment, the recognition that the only moment that truly exists is this one, right here, right now. It is in the present moment that you have the opportunity to transcend the past, to let go of the future, and to awaken to the timeless, boundless consciousness that is your birthright. It is here, in the stillness and clarity of the now, that you will find the keys to unlocking your deepest potential and living a life of profound meaning and purpose. As you continue on this journey of self-discovery, I invite you to let go of the past, to release your grip on the future, and to surrender fully into the eternal now. For it is only in this moment, free from the tyranny of the mind's constant commentary, that you can access the deep well of stillness, clarity, and inner peace that is your true nature. It is here, in the timeless expanse of the present, that you will find the courage to face your fears, to embrace your shadows, and to ultimately reclaim the freedom and wholeness that has always been yours. Are you ready to awaken to the power of being in the moment? To let go of the stories, the beliefs, and the conditioned patterns that have kept you trapped in a cycle of suffering, and to step into the infinite spaciousness of your own being? The choice is yours, and the invitation is here, in this very moment. Take a deep breath, let go, and allow yourself to simply be. For in this simple act of presence, you will find the key to unlocking the transformative power that lies at the heart of your existence. Chapter 2. Consciousness and the Human Mind. As you begin to awaken to the power of the present moment, you will inevitably find yourself confronted with the nature of your own consciousness and the intricate workings of the human mind. For it is through understanding the deeper layers of your own psyche that you can truly unlock the transformative potential that lies at the heart of this journey of self-discovery. At the most fundamental level, you are not simply a physical body or a collection of thoughts, emotions, and memories. Rather, you are a field of pure, boundless awareness, a conscious presence that underlies and observes the ever-changing stream of your inner and outer experience. This consciousness, this luminous witness that is your true essence, is not something that you have acquired or that can be lost. It is the very ground of your being, the timeless and limitless backdrop against which all of your life experiences unfold. Yet for most of us, this profound truth of our own nature has been obscured by the very tool that we have come to rely upon the most, the human mind. This remarkable instrument, with its ability to think, analyze, and problem-solve, has also become the primary source of our suffering, as it has generated a seemingly endless parade of thoughts, beliefs, and conditioned patterns that have kept us trapped in a state of separation, anxiety, dissatisfaction. The human mind, you see, is like a restless child, constantly seeking stimulation and validation through the endless pursuit of goals, achievements, and external sources of fulfillment. It is driven by the ego, that persistent sense of I that is always seeking to maintain its position of control and dominance. The ego, in turn, is fueled by the mind's tendency to constantly compare, judge, and project itself into the future, always striving for something more, something better. This relentless activity of the mind, this perpetual movement between past, present, and future, is the very root of human suffering. For in this constant state of mental chatter and emotional reactivity, you become disconnected from the spacious awareness that is your true nature, and instead find yourself lost in a web of thoughts, beliefs, and conditioned patterns that ultimately serve to reinforce your sense of separation and lack. To truly awaken to the power of the present moment, then, you must first learn to recognize and transcend the limitations of the human mind. You must cultivate the ability to step back, to observe the mind's ceaseless activity with a sense of detachment and equanimity, and to not become identified with the endless stream of thoughts, emotions, and sensations that arise and pass away within your field of awareness. This is not an easy task by any means. The mind is a powerful and persistent force, and it has been conditioned over a lifetime to maintain its grip on your consciousness. Yet, with patience, practice, and a deep commitment to your own transformation, you can begin to loosen the mind's hold and access the profound stillness and clarity that lies at the very heart of your being. One of the most powerful tools for this process of transcendence is the practice of meditation. Through the cultivation of stillness, presence, and non-judgment, meditation allows you to directly experience the spacious awareness that is your true nature and to gradually disentangle yourself from the constant chatter and activity of the mind. In the stillness of meditation, you will begin to notice that there is a part of you that is always present, always observing the flow of your inner experience with a sense of clarity and equanimity. This is the witness, the conscious presence that is your essence, and it is through the cultivation of this witness, consciousness, that you can break free from the tyranny of the mind and reclaim the freedom and wholeness that is your birthright. As you continue to practice, you will find that the boundary between the self and the other begin to dissolve. You will no longer perceive yourself as a separate, isolated entity, but rather as a fluid, interconnected part of the vast tapestry of existence. This recognition of your essential oneness with all of life is a profound and transformative insight, for it dissolves the root cause of your suffering, the deep-seated belief in your own separation and lack. With this shift in perspective, you will begin to experience a profound sense of inner peace, compassion, and clarity. The constant need to acquire, achieve, and control will start to fall away, and you will find yourself increasingly able to simply be, to rest in the spacious awareness that is your true nature. You will no longer feel compelled to chase after the endless stream of thoughts, desires, and aversions that have fueled your suffering, but rather you will be able to respond to the unfolding events of your life with a deep sense of presence, acceptance, and inner calm. This is the true power of consciousness, the recognition that you are not your thoughts, your emotions, or your physical form, but rather the vast, limitless awareness that observes and encompasses all of these transient phenomena. It is in this shift of identity, this letting go of the restrictive confines of the ego and the mind, that you will find the keys to unlocking your deepest potential and living a life of profound meaning and purpose. But this journey of awakening is not without its challenges. The ego, that persistent voice in your head that has ruled your life for so long, will resist this shift with all its might. It will try to convince you that your suffering is necessary, that you are incomplete or unworthy, and that you must continue to seek fulfillment in the endless pursuit of external goals and achievements. The ego's grip on your psyche is strong, for it has been conditioned over a lifetime to maintain its position of dominance and control. Yet, as you continue to cultivate your witness, consciousness, as you learn to observe the mind's activity with a sense of detachment and equanimity, you will gradually weaken the ego's hold and reclaim your innate freedom and wholeness. This process of transcendence is not easy, and it may at times feel like a lonely and uncertain path. You may encounter resistance, both from within and without, as you challenge the deeply ingrained beliefs and patterns that have shaped your sense of self and your experience of the world. Yet, if you can meet these challenges with courage, compassion, and a deep commitment to your own transformation, you will find that the rewards of this journey are beyond measure. For in the end, the true power of consciousness lies not in the acquisition of knowledge or the pursuit of accomplishments, but rather in the direct experience of your own essential nature, the boundless, luminous awareness that is the very ground of your being. It is this recognition, this direct, embodied understanding of who and what you truly are, that will set you free from the bondage of the mind and open the door to a life of profound fulfillment, joy, and purpose. As you continue on this journey of self-discovery, I invite you to embrace the challenge of transcending the limitations of the human mind. Cultivate the practice of presence, of witness, consciousness, and allow yourself to be carried into the spacious depths of your own being. For it is here, in the timeless expanse of the now, that you will find the keys to unlocking your deepest potential and living a life of true freedom and inner peace. Chapter 3: Acceptance and Surrender. As you continue to deepen your understanding of the human mind and the nature of your own consciousness, you will inevitably be called to confront one of the most fundamental and challenging aspects of the spiritual journey: the practice of acceptance and surrender. You see, one of the primary drivers of human suffering is the mind's constant resistance to the way things are. Whether it's an unpleasant emotion, a difficult life circumstance, or even the simple fact of your own mortality, the mind has a tendency to recoil, to grasp, and to desperately seek to control or change the present moment. This struggle against reality, this unwillingness to fully embrace the ebb and flow of life as it unfolds, is the root cause of much of our pain and anguish. For when we resist the present moment, when we cling to our preferences and aversions, we cut ourselves off from the profound peace and freedom that are available to us here and now. Acceptance, then, is not a passive resignation or a giving up, but rather a profound act of courage and self-empowerment. It is the willingness to face the truth of our experience, to meet life on its own terms, and to let go of the illusion of control that has kept us trapped in a cycle of suffering. At its core, acceptance is an understanding that the present moment is exactly as it should be, regardless of whether it aligns with our desires or not. It is the recognition that every experience, every emotion, every circumstance is a part of the vast tapestry of existence, and that by embracing it fully, we open ourselves to the deep wisdom and clarity that lie at the heart of our being. This is not to say that acceptance means passively submitting to every challenge or difficulty that arises. Quite the contrary, true acceptance is often the gateway to inspired action and profound transformation. When we let go of the need to control or fix the present moment, we free up the energy and clarity to respond to life's challenges with wisdom, compassion, and a deep sense of purpose. Surrender, on the other hand, is the courageous act of letting go of the ego's desperate need for certainty, control, and self-validation. It is the recognition that the small, separate self that we have identified with for so long is not the totality of who we are, but rather a limited and conditioned construct that has kept us trapped in a state of fear, anxiety, and disconnection. To surrender, then, is to let go of the ego's grip on our consciousness and to open ourselves to the vast, boundless awareness that is our true nature. It is to trust in the unfolding of life, to surrender our attachment to particular outcomes, and to allow ourselves to be guided by the deeper intelligence that permeates all of existence. This practice of acceptance and surrender can be challenging, to be sure. The ego, that persistent voice in our heads, that has ruled our lives for so long, will resist this shift with all its might. It will try to convince us that our suffering is necessary, that we are incomplete or unworthy, and that we must continue to seek fulfillment in the endless pursuit of external goals and achievements. Yet, as we continue to cultivate our capacity for presence, for witness, consciousness, we begin to see the ego for what it truly is, a conditioned mental construct rather than the totality of our being. We start to recognize the futility of chasing after the endless stream of thoughts, desires, and aversions that it generates, and instead we turn our attention inward to the silent, spacious awareness that has always been present even in the midst of our suffering. It is in this state of acceptance and surrender that we find the keys to unlocking our deepest potential and living a life of profound meaning and purpose. For when we let go of the need to control, to fix, or to change the present moment, we open ourselves to the vast intelligence and wisdom that permeates all of existence. We begin to see that every challenge, every difficulty, every seemingly negative experience is in fact a portal to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. We realize that the very things that we have been struggling against are the catalysts for our own transformation, the raw materials from which we can forge a life of true freedom and fulfillment. This is the power of acceptance and surrender, the recognition that the universe is not working against us, but rather for us, and that by aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life, we can tap into the boundless creative potential that lies at the heart of our being. As we continue to deepen our practice, we will find that the sense of separation and lack that has defined our experience of the world begins to dissolve. We no longer perceive ourselves as isolated, autonomous individuals, but rather as fluid, interconnected parts of the vast tapestry of existence. We feel a profound sense of belonging, of being held and supported by the very forces that once seemed so foreign and threatening. With this shift in perspective, we find that the constant need to acquire, achieve, and control begins to fall away. We no longer feel compelled to chase after the endless stream of thoughts, desires, and aversions that have fueled our suffering, but rather we are able to respond to the unfolding events of our lives with a deep sense of presence, acceptance, and inner calm. This is the true power of acceptance and surrender. The recognition that the only moment that truly exists is this one, right here, right now. It is in the present moment, free from the tyranny of the mind's constant commentary, that we can access the deep well of stillness, clarity, and inner peace that is our birthright. But make no mistake, this journey is not an easy one. The path of acceptance and surrender is often filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of profound vulnerability and uncertainty. We may be called to face our deepest fears, our most deeply held beliefs, and the very foundations of our sense of self. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of crisis and upheaval that we have the greatest opportunity for growth and transformation. For it is only when we are willing to let go of the familiar, the comfortable, and the known that we can truly open ourselves to the limitless possibilities that lie before us. As we continue to practice acceptance and surrender, we may find ourselves confronted with a range of intense emotions, grief, anger, fear, and despair, to name a few. These are not to be shunned or avoided, but rather embraced with a spirit of compassion and curiosity. For it is through the full integration of these shadow aspects of our being that we can reclaim the wholeness and freedom that have always been ours. Indeed, the journey of acceptance and surrender is not a linear one, but rather a spiraling, cyclical process of expanding and contracting, of letting go and taking hold. There will be times when we feel fully aligned with the flow of life, and others when we are gripped by the ego's desperate need for control and validation. But it is precisely in these moments of struggle and resistance that we have the greatest opportunity to deepen our practice and to cultivate the qualities of patience, self-compassion, and trust that are so essential to this path. For in the face of our deepest fears and insecurities, the temptation to grasp and control can be overwhelming. We may find ourselves clinging to the familiar, even when it is causing us great pain and suffering. It is in these moments that the practice of acceptance and surrender becomes most crucial, the willingness to let go, to open ourselves to the unknown, and to trust in the unfolding of life. This trust, however, is not a passive resignation, but rather a deep, embodied knowing that we are held and supported by a greater intelligence that transcends our own limited understanding. It is the recognition that we are not separate from the universe, but rather that we are an integral part of the vast, interconnected web of life. When we can embrace this understanding, we begin to see that every experience, no matter how challenging or painful, is an opportunity for growth and transformation. The very things that we have been struggling against become the doorways to our own liberation, the raw materials from which we can forge a life of true fulfillment and purpose. This is the essence of the practice of acceptance and surrender, the willingness to let go of our attachment to particular outcomes, to open ourselves to the unknown, and to trust in the unfolding of life. It is a profound act of courage and self-empowerment, one that requires us to shed the layers of conditioning and illusion that have kept us trapped in a cycle of suffering and dissatisfaction. As we deepen into this practice, we may find that the boundaries between ourselves and the world begin to dissolve. We no longer perceive ourselves as isolated, autonomous individuals, but rather as fluid, interconnected parts of the vast tapestry of existence. We feel a profound sense of belonging, of being held and supported by the very forces that once seemed so foreign and threatening. With this shift in perspective, we find that the constant need to acquire, achieve, and control begins to fall away. We no longer feel compelled to chase after the endless stream of thoughts, desires, and aversions that have fueled our suffering, but rather we are able to respond to the unfolding events of our lives. Chapter 4. Presence and the Now. As you continue to navigate the terrain of acceptance and surrender, you will inevitably be called to cultivate an even deeper level of presence and awareness. The ability to fully inhabit the immediacy of the present moment without the constant interference of the mind's endless chatter and commentary. For it is in the state of pure presence that you will find the key to unlocking the true power and potential of your being. It is here, in the spacious awareness that lies beyond the constraints of time and thought, that you can access the profound clarity, wisdom, and creative energy that are your birthright as a conscious, sentient being. Yet, for many of us, the practice of presence can be an elusive and challenging one. The human mind, with its relentless drive to analyze, plan, and problem solve, is constantly pulling us away from the direct experience of the here and now, entangling us in a web of thoughts, memories, and projections that keep us trapped in a state of disconnection and dissatisfaction. To cultivate true presence, then, requires a radical shift in our relationship to the mind. A willingness to step back, to observe the mind's activity with a sense of detachment and equanimity, and to not become identified with the endless stream of thoughts, emotions, and sensations that arise and pass away within our field of awareness. This is no easy feat, of course. The mind is a powerful and persistent force, and it has been conditioned over a lifetime to maintain its grip on our consciousness. Yet, with patience, practice, and a deep commitment to our own transformation, we can gradually loosen the mind's hold and access the profound stillness and clarity that lie at the very heart of our being. Once again, we find that one of the most powerful tools for this process of presence is the practice of meditation. Through the cultivation of stillness, focus, and non-judgment, meditation allows us to directly experience the spacious awareness that is our true nature and to gradually disentangle ourselves from the constant chatter and activity of the mind. In the stillness of meditation, we begin to notice that there is a part of us that is always present, always observing the flow of our inner experience with a sense of clarity and equanimity. This is the witness, the conscious presence that is our essence, and it is through the cultivation of this witness consciousness that we can break free from the tyranny of the mind and reclaim the freedom and wholeness that are our birthright. As we continue to practice, we will find that the boundaries between the self and the other begin to dissolve. We no longer perceive ourselves as separate, isolated entities, but rather as fluid, interconnected parts of the vast tapestry of existence. This recognition of our essential oneness with all of life is a profound and transformative insight, for it dissolves the root cause of our suffering, the deep-seated belief in our own separation and lack. With this shift in perspective, we begin to experience a profound sense of inner peace, compassion, and clarity. The constant need to acquire, achieve, and control will start to fall away, and we will find ourselves increasingly able to simply be, to rest in the spacious awareness that is our true nature. We will no longer feel compelled to chase after the endless stream of thoughts, desires, and aversions that have fueled our suffering, but rather we will be able to respond to the unfolding events of our lives with a deep sense of presence, acceptance, and inner calm. This is the true power of presence, the recognition that we are not our thoughts, our emotions, or our physical form, but rather the vast, limitless awareness that observes and encompasses all of these transient phenomena. It is in this shift of identity, this letting go of the restrictive confines of the ego and the mind, that we will find the keys to unlocking our deepest potential and living a life of profound meaning and purpose. This process of transcendence is not an easy one, and it may at times feel like a lonely and uncertain path. We may encounter resistance, both from within and without, as we challenge the deeply ingrained beliefs and patterns that have shaped our sense of self and our experience of the world. Yet, if we can meet these challenges with courage, compassion, and a deep commitment to our own transformation, we will find that the rewards of this journey are beyond measure. For in the end, the true power of presence lies not in the acquisition of knowledge or the pursuit of accomplishments, but rather in the direct experience of our own essential nature, the boundless, luminous awareness that is the very ground of our being. It is this recognition, this direct, embodied understanding of who and what we truly are, that will set us free from the bondage of the mind and open the door to a life of profound fulfillment, joy, and purpose. As we continue to deepen our practice of presence, we may also find that our relationship to time begins to shift in profound ways. Instead of being caught in the endless loop of past and future, we will find ourselves increasingly able to inhabit the timeless expanse of the present moment, where all of life's richness and possibility are contained. In this state of pure presence, we no longer feel the need to hurry, to plan, or to control the unfolding of events. We simply allow ourselves to be fully immersed in the flow of each passing moment, trusting in the natural intelligence that permeates all of existence. We become attuned to the subtle rhythms and cycles of the natural world, and we find ourselves increasingly in sync with the ebb and flow of life's mysterious currents. This is not to say that we abandon all effort or intention. Rather, our actions become infused with a deep sense of purpose and clarity, born not from the mind's constant striving, but from the intuitive wisdom that arises when we are fully present and attentive to the moment. We may find ourselves, for example, tackling a challenging task with a sense of ease and effortlessness, able to navigate the complexities with a clarity and focus that eludes us when we are caught up in the chattering of the mind. Or we may find ourselves deeply engaged in a creative pursuit, losing ourselves in the flow of the process, free from the self-consciousness and self-judgment that so often inhibits our creative expression. In these moments of pure presence, we experience a profound sense of connection and integration, a unity of mind, body, and spirit that transcends the fragmentation and compartmentalization that so often characterize our lived experience. We feel a deep sense of belonging, of being fully at home in the world, and we access a wellspring of energy, creativity, and inner resourcefulness that we may not have even known existed. But the true power of presence lies not only in these peak experiences, but also in the ability to cultivate a sustained, embodied state of awareness that permeates every aspect of our lives. As we deepen our practice, we find that we are increasingly able to remain present and attentive, even in the midst of the most challenging or mundane situations. Whether we are engaged in a difficult conversation, faced with a complex decision, or simply going about the routines of our daily lives, we are able to respond with a clarity and equanimity that is rooted in our deeper understanding of the nature of consciousness. We are no longer at the mercy of our impulses, our emotions, or our conditioned patterns, but rather we are able to skillfully navigate the terrain of our lives with a sense of grace and ease. This is the true gift of presence, the recognition that we are not helpless victims of circumstance, but rather powerful co-creators of our own experience. By cultivating a deep embodied awareness of the present moment, we unlock access to our innate wisdom, creativity, and resilience, and we begin to live our lives with a profound sense of purpose, authenticity, and fulfillment. Chapter 5. Embodying Infinite Awareness. As we have delved deeper into the practices of acceptance, surrender, and presence, we have begun to glimpse the profound truth of our own essential nature. that we are not merely separate, isolated individuals, but rather fluid, interconnected expressions of the vast, limitless awareness that is the ground of all being. This recognition of our fundamental oneness with the universe is a radical and transformative insight, one that has the power to liberate us from the bondage of the ego and to open us up to a new way of being in the world. For when we truly embody this understanding, we unlock access to a wellspring of creative potential, intuitive wisdom, and profound inner peace that can radically transform every aspect of our lives. Yet, the process of embodying this infinite awareness is not a simple or straightforward one. The ego, that persistent voice in our heads that has ruled our lives for so long, will resist this shift with all its might. It will cling to its conditioned beliefs and patterns, desperately trying to maintain its illusion of control and separation. Moreover, as we continue to expand our consciousness and dissolve the boundaries of our perceived identity, we may encounter a wide range of powerful and even unsettling experiences. We may have glimpses of unity consciousness, moments of transcendent bliss, or even encounters with the deeper, more mysterious aspects of our being. These experiences can be profoundly disorienting, as they challenge the very foundations of our understood reality. We may find ourselves questioning the nature of time, space, and the self, as the fixed, stable world we once took for granted begins to reveal its fluid, interconnected nature. It is in navigating these uncharted waters that the power of embodiment becomes paramount. For it is not enough to simply have intellectual understanding of our essential oneness with the universe. We must find ways to fully inhabit and integrate this understanding into the very fabric of our lived experience. One of the primary ways we can do this is through the cultivation of deep, somatic awareness, the practice of attuning to the subtle energies, sensations, and rhythms that permeate our physical bodies. When we tune into the aliveness and intelligence that resides within us, we begin to directly experience the flow of life force that animates all of creation. Through practices like breathwork, yoga, and mindful movement, we can learn to drop out of the constant chatter of the mind and to become fully present in the immediacy of bodily experience. We may begin to feel a profound sense of interconnectedness as we recognize that the same energy that pulses through our veins is the same energy that flows through the trees, the rivers, and the very stars themselves. This embodied understanding is not merely a conceptual one, but rather a lived, visceral experience of the underlying unity of all things. And as we deepen our capacity to abide in this state of wholeness and integration, we find that our relationship to the world around us begins to transform in profound and meaningful ways. We may, for example, find ourselves more deeply attuned to the cycles and rhythms of the natural world, able to intuitively attune to the ebbs and flows of the seasons, the tides, and the weather patterns that shape the terrain of our lives. We may discover new ways of relating to the earth and the living systems that sustain us, moving away from a mindset of extraction and domination and towards one of reverence, reciprocity, and co-creation. Similarly, we may find that our relationships with other human beings take on a new depth and intimacy as we become increasingly able to perceive and connect with the underlying essence that lies beyond the surface of personality and conditioning. We may find ourselves engaging in more genuine, heartfelt exchanges, where the barriers of ego and judgment begin to dissolve, and we are able to truly see and be seen by one another. Indeed, as we continue to embody the infinite awareness that is our true nature, we may find that the very fabric of our reality begins to shift and transform in ways that defy our conventional understanding. We may experience synchronicities, intuitive insights, and even what some might call miraculous occurrences as we tap into the deeper currents of intelligence and possibility that permeate the universe. These experiences can be profoundly humbling and awe-inspiring, reminding us of the profound mystery and magic that lies at the heart of existence. And as we learn to trust and surrender to these deeper currents, we may find that our lives become infused with a sense of purpose, meaning, and profound aliveness that transcends the limited, egoic concerns that have so often defined our experience. Of course, the journey of embodying the infinite is not without its challenges and obstacles. As we continue to expand our consciousness and let go of the familiar confines of the ego, we may encounter a wide range of intense emotions, psychic energies, and even glimpses of the darker, more mysterious aspects of our own psyche. These encounters can be deeply unsettling, as they push us to confront the unresolved traumas, fears, and shadow aspects that have been kept in the periphery of our awareness. And it is in these moments that the practices of acceptance, surrender, and presence become even more crucial. The willingness to meet each experience with compassion, equanimity, and a deep trust in the unfolding of the process. For it is through the full integration of these shadow aspects of our being that we can reclaim the wholeness and freedom that have always been ours. By learning to embrace and transmute the more challenging and difficult emotions and energies that arise, we open ourselves to a deeper level of self-knowledge, self-acceptance, and self-empowerment. The ego will often resist these transformative experiences with all its might, trying to maintain its grip on the familiar and the known. And we may find ourselves cycling through periods of intense upheaval, disorientation, and even what some might call dark nights of the soul. Yet, if we can weather these storms with courage, resilience, and a deep commitment to our own evolution, we will find that the rewards of this journey are beyond measure. For as we continue to embody the infinite awareness that is our true nature, we unlock access to a wellspring of creativity, intuition, and inner resourcefulness that can radically transform every aspect of our lives. We may, for example, find ourselves drawn to new and meaningful forms of creative expression as the boundless energy and inspiration that flows through us seeks to manifest in the world. We may discover new passions and callings, or even embark on entirely new paths of service and contribution, as we become increasingly attuned to the deeper currents of purpose and meaning that shape our lives. Similarly, we may find that our relationships, our work, and our overall sense of well-being begin to shift and transform in profound ways. As we become more grounded in the understanding of our essential oneness with all of life, we may find that the need to grasp, control, and manipulate the external world begins to fall away. Instead, we are able to respond to the unfolding of events with a greater sense of flow, flexibility, and trust. We may find ourselves more attuned to the unique needs and perspectives of others, and more committed to fostering cooperation, collaboration, and collective flourishing. Indeed, as we continue to embody the infinite, we may discover that the very nature of our identity begins to shift and expand in ways that defy our conventional understanding. We may find ourselves less attached to fixed, limited notions of self, and more open to the fluid, multidimensional nature of our being. We may have profound experiences of transcendence, where the boundaries between self and other dissolve, and we feel a deep sense of oneness and interconnectedness with all of existence. Or we may discover new realms of intuition, psychic awareness, and mystical insight as we tap into the deeper currents of consciousness that lie beyond the veil of the rational mind. These experiences can be both profoundly liberating and deeply humbling, as they remind us of the vastness and complexity of our own being. And it is in embracing this sense of mystery and unknowing that we may find the greatest freedom and fulfillment. For when we let go of the need to control, to fix, or to fully comprehend the nature of our experience, we open ourselves to the infinite possibility and creative potential that lies at the heart of the universe. We become less attached to particular outcomes and more attuned to the natural flow and unfolding of life. This is not to say that we abandon all effort or intention. Rather, our actions become infused with a deeper sense of purpose and clarity, born not from the ego's desperate need for validation or achievement, but from the intuitive wisdom that arises when we are fully present and aligned with the deeper currents of existence. In this state of embodied, infinite awareness, we may find that the very nature of our relationship to time and space begins to shift. We may experience a profound sense of timelessness, where the past, present, and future all merge into a seamless, ever-unfolding now. Or we may discover new realms of possibility and synchronicity, where the boundaries between the seen and unseen worlds become increasingly porous. As we continue to deepen our embodiment of the infinite, we may even find that our very perception of physical reality begins to transform. The solid, static world that we once took for granted may start to reveal its fluid, energetic nature, a constantly shifting dance of light, vibration, and interconnected intelligence. In these moments, the illusion of separation that has defined our experience of the world begins to dissolve, and we glimpse the profound truth that all of existence is suffused with the same underlying essence, the same luminous awareness that is the ground of our own being. This recognition can be both exhilarating and deeply unsettling, as it challenges the very foundations of our understood reality. We may find ourselves questioning the nature of materiality, the origins of consciousness, and the true scope of human potential. And in the face of these profound mysteries, we may be called to cultivate a profound sense of humility, curiosity, and reverence. For it is in embracing the unknown, the unseen, and the unknowable that we open ourselves to the deepest realms of transformation and transcendence. We let go of the need to control, to categorize, and to comprehend, and instead we surrender to the infinite wisdom and intelligence that permeates all of existence. This is not an easy path by any means. As we continue to embody the infinite, we may encounter a wide range of challenges and obstacles, both internal and external, that test the limits of our practice and our capacity for resilience. We may, for example, face resistance and skepticism from those around us who have not yet awakened to the deeper truths of our interconnected existence. We may find ourselves navigating complex social and political dynamics as we strive to live in alignment with our deepest values and principles. And within our own psyches, we may encounter deep-seated fears, traumas, and shadow aspects that have been kept hidden from our conscious awareness. These encounters can be profoundly unsettling as they push us to confront the darker, more challenging aspects of our own being. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of struggle and challenge that we have the greatest opportunity to deepen our embodiment of the infinite. For it is through the full integration and transmutation of these shadow elements that we can reclaim the wholeness and freedom that have always been ours. By learning to meet each experience with compassion, equanimity, and a deep trust in the unfolding of the process, we unlock the keys to a profound and lasting transformation. We begin to recognize that every aspect of our being, the light and the dark, the joyful and the painful, is a necessary part of the journey towards wholeness and self-realization. And as we continue to surrender to this process, we may find that our very relationship to the world around us begins to shift in profound and meaningful ways. We may discover new ways of living, working, and relating that are more sustainable, equitable, and in harmony with the natural world. We may find ourselves drawn to careers and vocations that are deeply aligned with our values and our sense of purpose, where we can leverage our unique gifts and talents in service of the greater good. Or we may feel called to engage in social and environmental activism, using our embodied understanding of interconnectedness to catalyze positive change on a broader scale. Indeed, as we continue to embody the infinite, we may find that our sense of purpose and meaning becomes increasingly expansive and far-reaching. We may discover that our true work is not just about personal fulfillment or individual accomplishment, but rather about contributing to the collective evolution and flourishing of all life on this planet. This is not to say that the path is an easy one. There will be times when the weight of the world feels heavy and challenges before us seem insurmountable. But it is precisely in these moments that we must draw upon the deepest wellsprings of our embodied, infinite awareness, the unwavering recognition that we are not separate, isolated entities, but we are not separate, isolated entities, but rather fluid, interconnected expressions of the same boundless, luminous consciousness that animates all of existence. It is from this place of profound understanding and integration that we can find the courage, the resilience, and the creativity to navigate even the most daunting of circumstances. We know, in the very depths of our being, that we are part of something greater than ourselves, a vast, living, breathing tapestry of life that is constantly unfolding and evolving in ways that transcend our limited human comprehension. And so, we continue on this journey of embodiment, trusting in the wisdom and intelligence that flows through us, and surrendering to the infinite mystery that lies at the heart of our existence. We embrace the challenges and the uncertainties, knowing that each step along the way is an opportunity for deeper integration, deeper understanding, and deeper connection with the sacred web of life that sustains us all. For in the end, the true power of embodying the infinite lies not in the acquisition of knowledge or the pursuit of personal enlightenment, but rather in the recognition that we are all, at the deepest level, part of the same living, breathing cosmos, interconnected, interdependent, and endlessly creative expressions of the divine creative force that pulses through all of existence. It is this understanding, this direct, embodied experience of our own essential oneness with the universe, that has the power to transform not just our individual lives, but the very fabric of our collective reality. And as we continue to cultivate and embody this understanding, we open the door to a new era of healing, harmony, and collective flourishing. A world in which the boundless potential of the human spirit can be fully realized and expressed. Chapter 6. The Dance of Co-Creation. As we have continued to deepen our embodiment of the infinite, we have come to understand that our relationship to the world around us is not one of separation and passivity, but rather one of active co-creation and collaboration. For in recognizing the profound truth of our interconnectedness, we also unlock the keys to a new way of engaging with the fabric of reality itself. No longer are we merely observers or consumers, but rather vital, dynamic participants in the ever-unfolding dance of existence. Our thoughts, our actions, and our very presence have the power to shape and influence the energetic currents that permeate all of life, leading to cascading effects that ripple out in ways we may not even fully comprehend. This understanding of our role as co-creators is both humbling and empowering. It reminds us that we are not isolated, powerless entities, but rather integral parts of a vast, living system, one in which our choices and our intentions carry real weight and significance. And it is from this place of embodied responsibility that we can begin to consciously and intentionally direct the course of our individual and collective experience. One of the primary ways we can engage in this co-creative process is through the cultivation of focused, directed intention. When we learn to harness the power of our thoughts, our emotions, and our deepest aspirations, we unlock access to a wellspring of creative potential that can transform every aspect of our lives. Through practices like visualization, affirmation, and conscious manifestation, we can align our inner energies with the outer expression of our desires and thereby set in motion a cascade of events and synchronicities that gradually bring those desires into form. We may, for example, find ourselves drawn to new opportunities, inspired with creative insights, or guided towards the people and resources that can help us actualize our dreams. But the process of co-creation is not merely about the attainment of individual goals or the fulfillment of personal wants and needs. It is also about recognizing our role in the larger collective evolution of humanity and the planet as a whole. When we expand our lens of awareness and responsibility, we begin to see the profound ripple effects that our choices and actions can have on the world around us. We may find ourselves, for instance, called to engage in service-oriented work that positively impacts our communities and the environment. Or we may discover new ways of living, working, and relating that are more sustainable, equitable, and in harmony with the natural rhythms of the earth. In doing so, we not only better our own lives, but we also contribute to the healing and regeneration of the greater whole. The path of co-creation has its own challenges and obstacles. As we continue to expand the scope of our influence and the depth of our responsibility, we may encounter resistance, both from within and without. The ego, that persistent voice of limitation and separation, will often try to convince us that our efforts are futile, that we are powerless to effect real change, or that we should simply focus on our own narrow self-interests. Similarly, we may face external opposition from those who are not yet ready to embrace the deeper truths of our interconnectedness. Entrenched systems, rigid belief structures, and deeply conditioned patterns of behavior can all pose formidable barriers to the kind of transformative shifts we seek to bring about. Yet, it is precisely in the face of these challenges that we must draw upon the full depth of our embodied, infinite awareness. For it is only by remaining grounded in the recognition of our essential oneness, and by cultivating a profound trust in the intelligence and wisdom that flows through all of life, that we can navigate the complexities of the co-creative process with clarity, courage, and compassion. This is not to say that the path is easy or straightforward. There will be times when the obstacles seem insurmountable, when the momentum of change feels painfully slow, and when the temptation to give up or revert to old, comfortable patterns becomes overwhelming. But it is in these moments that we must deepen our commitment to the vision we hold and to the broader evolutionary impulse that is guiding us forward. For the truth is that the dance of co-creation is not simply about the attainment of individual goals or the realization of personal desires. It is about participating in the sacred unfolding of the universe itself, aligning our energies, our intentions, and our actions with the deeper currents of consciousness that are shaping the very fabric of reality. And as we learn to move in harmony with these currents, we begin to unlock access to a profound wellspring of creativity, intuition, and synchronicity that can radically transform not just our own lives, but the lives of all those around us. We may, for example, find ourselves drawn to new and unexpected creative outlets, where the ideas and inspirations that flow through us serve as catalysts for collective awakening and transformation. Or we may discover innovative solutions to complex social and environmental challenges, born not from the linear, rational mind, but from a deeper, more holistic understanding of the interplay of systems and the dynamics of living, breathing ecosystems. In these moments of co-creative flow, we transcend the limitations of the ego and become vessels for a larger intelligence and purpose. We let go of the need to control or manipulate the unfolding of events, and instead we surrender to the natural rhythms and patterns that shape the ever-evolving tapestry of life. This is not to say that we become passive or indifferent. Rather, our actions become imbued with a profound sense of clarity, focus, and effortless efficacy. We move with a deep awareness of the interconnected web of cause and effect, and we make choices that are aligned with the greatest good of all. Moreover, as we continue to deepen our embodiment of the infinite and our participation in the co-creative dance, we may find that our relationships with others also begin to transform in profound and meaningful ways. When we operate from a place of genuine interconnectedness and mutual understanding, the barriers of ego, judgment, and separation begin to dissolve. We may find ourselves engaging in more authentic, heartfelt exchanges, where the exchange of ideas, the sharing of stories, and the exploration of our shared humanity become vital touchstones in the ongoing process of collective evolution. We may discover new ways of collaborating, co-creating, and supporting one another that transcend the limited, transactional paradigms that have so often characterized human interaction. Indeed, as we continue to embody the principles of co-creation, we may find that our very sense of identity and purpose begins to shift in profound and unexpected ways. Rather than seeing ourselves as separate, autonomous individuals, we may come to recognize that our true work in this world is not about personal fulfillment or the accumulation of wealth and status, but rather about aligning with the deeper currents of evolution and contributing to the blossoming of all life. This is not to say that we must sacrifice our own well-being or individuality in service of some higher, abstract cause. On the contrary, it is through the full integration and actualization of our unique gifts and talents that we can most effectively serve the greater good. It is about recognizing that our individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the flourishing of the whole, that the true measure of our success is not in what we can accrue or possess, but in how we can uplift, inspire, and empower those around us. And so, as we continue on this journey of co-creation, let us hold fast to the vision of a world that is in harmony, a world that is thriving, a world that is alive with the boundless potential of human creativity and divine intelligence. Let us trust in the wisdom that flows through us. Let us surrender to the rhythms that shape the greater whole, and let us commit ourselves, body and soul, to the sacred dance of transformation that is unfolding all around us. For in doing so, we not only change the course of our own lives, but we also contribute to the healing and regeneration of the entire planet. We become catalysts for a new era of conscious, compassionate coexistence, one in which the divinity within each of us is honored, celebrated, and expressed in service of the greater good. Chapter 7. Cultivating Multidimensional Awareness. As we have continued to deepen our embodiment of the infinite and to engage in the sacred dance of co-creation, we have begun to glimpse the vastness and complexity of the human experience. For in recognizing our fundamental oneness with the fabric of reality, we have also uncovered the multidimensional nature of consciousness itself. The boundless spectrum of awareness, intelligence, and energetic potentiality that lies at the heart of our being. This journey into the realms of expanded consciousness has been both profoundly illuminating and deeply humbling. We have encountered experiences and realms of existence that transcend the limits of our conventional understanding, challenging us to let go of our fixed notions of self, reality, and the nature of existence itself. We may, for instance, have had glimpses of unity consciousness, moments where the boundaries between self and other dissolve, and we feel a profound sense of oneness with all of life. Or we may have accessed realms of subtle energy and intuitive insight, where the veil between the seen and unseen worlds becomes increasingly porous. These experiences can be both awe-inspiring and disorienting, as they push us to confront the limitless possibilities and mysteries that lie beyond the confines of the rational, egoic mind. And it is in navigating these uncharted waters that the true power and responsibility of our embodied, infinite awareness becomes ever more apparent. For as we continue to explore the depths and breadth of human consciousness, we must learn to cultivate a profound sense of discernment, humility, and reverence. We must be willing to let go of the need to control, to categorize, and to fully understand the nature of our experience, and instead surrender to the inherent wisdom and intelligence that permeates the very fabric of our being. One of the key practices in this regard is the cultivation of a multidimensional awareness. The ability to simultaneously hold and integrate a wide range of energetic, intuitive, and mystical insights, while also remaining grounded and centered in the practical realities of our everyday lives. This involves, for example, the development of subtle energetic perception, where we learn to attune to the flow and interplay of life force, chakras, and other non-physical systems that shape our experience of reality. It may also include the cultivation of intuitive capacities such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, and claircognizance, which allow us to access deeper realms of information and guidance. At the same time, we must also learn to engage with these expanded states of consciousness in a grounded, responsible manner. We must be vigilant against the seduction of spiritual ego, the tendency to become attached to particular experiences or to elevate ourselves above others based on our perceived level of attainment. Instead, we must approach these realms of exploration with a deep sense of humility, recognizing that the true nature of consciousness is inherently mysterious and beyond the grasp of our limited, conditioned mind. We must be willing to hold multiple perspectives simultaneously, to acknowledge the inherent limitations of our own understanding, and to remain open to the constant unfolding and evolution of our awareness. One of the primary ways we can cultivate this multidimensional awareness is through the practice of deep embodied meditation. By learning to drop out of the incessant chatter of the mind and to become fully present in the immediacy of our physical, energetic, and intuitive experience, we unlock access to a wellspring of insight, wisdom, and creative potential that can radically transform every aspect of our lives. Through practices like breathwork, mantra recitation, and conscious connection with the elements and natural world, we can attune to the subtle rhythms and intelligences that permeate the fabric of existence. We may, for example, begin to feel a profound sense of oneness with the earth, able to directly sense the ebb and flow of the tides, the cycles of the seasons, and the pulsing life force that animates all living things. Similarly, we may discover new realms of intuition and psychic awareness, where we are able to perceive the underlying patterns, energies, and subtle communications that flow between all beings. We may find ourselves able to intuitively sense the needs and perspectives of others, to receive guidance and insights from non-physical realms, or to engage in forms of telepathic exchange that transcend the limitations of conventional communication. Of course, as we continue to explore these expanded states of consciousness, we may also encounter a wide range of challenges and obstacles. We may, for example, face resistance and skepticism from those around us who are not yet ready to embrace the deeper truths of our interconnected existence. We may find ourselves navigating complex social and interpersonal dynamics as we strive to integrate our newfound awareness and insights into our day-to-day lives. Moreover, we may also encounter powerful, even unsettling, energetic and psychic phenomena that push the boundaries of our understanding and capacity for equanimity. We may, for instance, experience vivid encounters with non-physical entities, visionary experiences that challenge our notions of reality, or even spontaneous kundalini awakenings that unleash torrents of primal, transformative energy through our bodies and psyches. In these moments, it is crucial that we approach these phenomena with a deep sense of reverence, humility, and discernment. We must resist the temptation to become attached to or identified with particular experiences, and instead learn to hold them with a light yet steady touch. We must also be vigilant against the seduction of spiritual bypassing, the tendency to use altered states of consciousness as a means of escaping or avoiding the deeper, more challenging aspects of our psychological and emotional experience. Instead, we must be willing to face these challenges head-on, with a profound commitment to integrating and transmuting the energies and insights that arise. This may involve, for example, engaging in practices of shadow work, where we consciously confront and integrate the darker, more suppressed aspects of our psyche. Or it may require us to develop sophisticated energetic hygiene and protection practices in order to maintain our grounding and balance amidst the shifting tides of subtle energy. Throughout this journey, we must also remain vigilant against the seduction of spiritual materialism, the tendency to become attached to particular beliefs, practices, or states of consciousness as a means of elevating ourselves above others or of seeking validation and status within spiritual or New Age communities. Rather, we must cultivate a deep, abiding humility, a recognition that the nature of consciousness is inherently mysterious and that our own understanding is always partial and contingent. We must be willing to continually let go of our fixed notions and to remain open to the constant evolution and expansion of our awareness. This is not to say that we should abandon our hard-won insights and experiences. On the contrary, it is through the integration and embodiment of these realms of expanded consciousness that we can catalyze profound and lasting transformation, both within ourselves and in the world around us. But we must hold these insights lightly, with a deep reverence for the vast, unknowable mystery that lies at the heart of existence. Indeed, as we continue to navigate the realms of consciousness, we may find that our very relationship to time and space begins to shift in profound and unexpected ways. We may, for instance, experience profound states of timelessness, where the past, present, and future all merge into a seamless, ever-unfolding now. Or we may discover new dimensions of synchronicity and nonlinear causality, where the boundaries between the seen and unseen worlds become increasingly porous. In these expanded states of awareness, we may also encounter new levels of creative potential and intuitive insight. We may find ourselves drawn to unexpected forms of artistic expression, where the energies and intelligences that flow through us manifest in visionary works that push the boundaries of our conventional understanding. Or we may discover innovative solutions to complex social and environmental challenges, born not from the linear, rational mind, but from a deeper, holistic grasp of the interplay of systems and the rhythms of living, breathing ecosystems. As we continue to deepen our embodied exploration of consciousness, we may also find that our relationship to the physical world itself begins to transform in profound and unexpected ways. We may, for instance, develop new capacities for physical healing and regeneration, where we are able to consciously direct the flow of life force and cellular intelligence to overcome ailments and limitations. Or we may discover realms of subtle energy and psychokinetic influence, where we can leverage the power of our focused intention to shape and direct the very fabric of material reality. These experiences can be both exhilarating and humbling, as they challenge the conventional boundaries between the physical and non-physical, the material and the energetic. Throughout this journey, it is crucial that we maintain a deep sense of ethical responsibility and a deep reverence for the sanctity of all life. For as we continue to expand the scope of our awareness and the depth of our influence, we must be ever mindful of the profound impact that our choices and actions can have on the world around us. We must, for example, be vigilant against the temptation to use our newfound capacities for personal gain or for the exploitation of others. We must instead strive to align our actions with the greater good, consciously directing the flow of energy and intention in service of collective healing, harmony, and evolution. This requires the cultivation of a deep, abiding sense of ethical discernment, the ability to navigate the complex interplay of individual and collective needs, to weigh the potential consequences of our choices, and to remain firmly rooted in the recognition of our fundamental oneness with all of life. As we continue to expand our awareness and influence, we may, for instance, encounter opportunities to leverage our intuitive or energetic gifts for financial gain or personal power. But we must resist the pull of ego and remain vigilantly attuned to the true impact of our actions, not just on ourselves, but on the wider web of life that we are inextricably a part of. Similarly, we may find ourselves drawn to explore realms of consciousness that push the boundaries of conventional understanding, realms of non-ordinary reality, extra-dimensional entities, or even the manipulation of physical matter through the power of focused intention. And while these realms can be profoundly transformative and enlightening, we must approach them with the utmost care and reverence, ever mindful of the potential for misuse or unintended consequences. Indeed, as we continue to navigate the labyrinth of expanded consciousness, we may encounter a wide range of phenomena and experiences that challenge the very foundations of our understood reality. We may, for instance, encounter startling UFO sightings, unexplained paranormal events, or spontaneous mystical experiences that stretch the limits of our rational comprehension. In these moments, it is crucial that we remain grounded in our embodied infinite awareness, neither dismissing these experiences as mere fantasy or hallucination, nor becoming overwhelmed or attached to them. Instead, we must cultivate a deeply felt sense of curiosity, humility, and open-minded investigation, ever willing to expand the horizons of our understanding while also maintaining a deep respect for the inherent mysteries of existence. For it is in this delicate balance of exploration and reverence that we unlock the keys to a truly transformative and empowered engagement with the realms of consciousness. It is in this place of humble yet courageous inquiry that we can begin to glimpse the vast interconnected tapestry of life that lies beyond the confines of our conventional reality. And as we continue to navigate these uncharted waters, we may find that our very sense of identity and purpose begins to shift in profound and unexpected ways. Rather than seeing ourselves as isolated, autonomous individuals, we may come to recognize that our true work in this world is not about personal fulfillment or the accumulation of power and status, but rather about aligning with the deeper currents of evolution and contributing to the blossoming of all life. This is not to say that we must sacrifice our own well-being or individuality in service of some higher abstract cause. On the contrary, it is through the full integration and actualization of our unique gifts and talents that we can most effectively serve the greater good. It is about recognizing that our individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the flourishing of the whole, that the true measure of our success is not in what we can accrue or possess, but in how we can uplift, inspire, and empower those around us. And so, as we continue to navigate the realms of consciousness, let us do so with a profound sense of responsibility, humility, and reverence. Let us remain ever vigilant against the seductions of the ego, the temptations of spiritual materialism, and the allure of power and control. And let us instead cultivate a deep, abiding trust in the inherent wisdom and intelligence that permeates the very fabric of existence. For it is only through this unwavering commitment to the greater good, this surrender to the sacred mystery that lies at the heart of all things, that we can truly unlock the transformative potential of our embodied, infinite awareness. It is only by aligning our thoughts, our actions, and our very presence with the deeper currents of evolution that we can catalyze the kind of profound and lasting change that our world so desperately needs. So let us continue on this journey together, embracing the challenges and the mysteries with a deep sense of courage, curiosity, and an abiding faith in the inherent goodness and intelligence that animates all of life. Let us remain ever vigilant, ever discerning, and ever committed to the realization of a world that is in harmony, a world that is thriving, a world that is alive with the boundless potential of human consciousness and divine wisdom. For in doing so, we not only transform ourselves, but we also contribute to the transformation of the world around us. One heart, one mind, and one infinitely interconnected moment at a time. Chapter 8. The Path of Transcendence and Integration. As we have journeyed ever deeper into the realms of expanded consciousness, we have begun to unlock profound insights and capacities that challenge the very foundations of our conventional understanding. We have glimpsed the boundless nature of our being, the interconnectedness that lies at the heart of all existence, and the creative potential that flows through us as embodied, infinite beings. Yet, with these revelations comes a profound responsibility, the call to not only integrate these expansive energies and insights within ourselves, but to embody them in our daily lives and to consciously shape the evolution of our world. For it is not enough to simply have mystical experiences or to revel in the ecstasy of unity consciousness. We must also find ways to ground these luminous insights into tangible, transformative action. This path of transcendence and integration is not an easy one, for it requires us to continually navigate the delicate balance between the realms of the spirit and the realities of the physical world. we must learn to move fluidly between expansive states of awareness and the practical demands of our everyday existence, finding ways to seamlessly weave the divine into the mundane. One of the key practices in this regard is the cultivation of a deep sense of embodiment, the recognition that our physical form is not merely a vessel or a limitation, but rather a sacred portal through which the infinite manifests in tangible, experiential form. It is through the full embrace and activation of our senses, our emotions, and our physical energies that we unlock access to the deepest wellsprings of our being. Through practices like breathwork, conscious movement, and sensory immersion, we can attune to the subtle rhythms and intelligences that permeate the fabric of our physical existence. We may, for instance, discover new capacities for somatic awareness, where we can directly feel and consciously direct the flow of life force through our bodies. Or we may find ourselves drawn to unexpected forms of creative expression, where the energies and insights that flow through us manifest in visionary works that push the boundaries of our conventional understanding. At the same time, we must also learn to skillfully navigate the interplay between our expanded states of consciousness and the practical realities of our day-to-day lives. For it is all too easy to become enamored with the allure of the mystical, to retreat into realms of pure spiritual bliss, and to lose touch with the immediate needs and challenges of the world around us. Instead, we must cultivate a deep-seated sense of embodied presence and grounded pragmatism, the ability to move fluidly between the realms of the spirit and the demands of the physical, finding creative and harmonious ways to integrate our expansive insights and capacities into our concrete, daily experience. This may involve, for example, the development of innovative approaches to work, community, and relationships that are rooted in principles of interconnectedness, collaboration, and service. We may find ourselves drawn to entrepreneurial ventures, social impact initiatives, or educational programs that leverage the power of consciousness to catalyze positive change. Or it may manifest in more subtle, yet no less profound ways, in the way we approach our personal relationships, in the choices we make about how we use our resources, or in the daily practices and rituals that help us stay centered, grounded, and attentive to the needs of the moment. Throughout this process, we must remain ever vigilant against the temptation of the tendency to use our expanded awareness as a means of avoiding or transcending the more challenging aspects of our human experience. For true integration requires that we face our shadows, our wounds, and our deepest fears with unwavering courage and compassion. It is only by embracing the fullness of our being, both the light and the dark, the divine and the mundane, that we can unlock the transformative potential of our embodied, infinite awareness. And it is through this deep, abiding commitment to integration that we can begin to catalyze the kind of profound and lasting change that our world so urgently needs. One of the primary ways we can enact this transformative integration is through the cultivation of what we might call sacred activism, the conscious, intentional application of our expansive energies and insights in service of the greater good. This might involve, for instance, the use of our intuitive gifts to guide and support those in need, the leveraging of our energetic capacities to facilitate collective healing and harmony, or the channeling of our creative impulses into visionary projects that uplift and inspire. At the same time, we must remain ever vigilant against the tendency to use our newfound powers and insights as a means of elevating ourselves above others, or of seeking validation and status within spiritual or New Age communities. For true sacred activism is not about attaining personal power or prestige, but rather about aligning our energies and intentions with the deeper currents of evolution and the flourishing of all life. It is about recognizing that our individual well-being and fulfillment are inextricably linked to the well-being and fulfillment of the collective. That the true measure of our success is not in what we can accumulate or achieve, but in how we can contribute to the healing, transformation, and elevation of our shared human experience. As we continue to deepen our embodiment of the infinite and to engage in this sacred work of transcendence and integration, we may find that our relationships with others also begin to transform in profound and unexpected ways. When we operate from a place of genuine interconnectedness and mutual understanding, the barriers of ego, judgment, and separation begin to dissolve. We may find ourselves engaging in more authentic, heartfelt exchanges, where the exchange of ideas, the sharing of stories, and the exploration of our shared humanity become vital touchstones in the ongoing process of collective evolution. We may discover new ways of collaborating, co-creating, and supporting one another that transcend the limited, transactional paradigms that have so often characterized human interaction. Indeed, as we continue to embody the principles of sacred activism and conscious integration, we may find that our very sense of identity and purpose begins to shift in profound and unexpected ways. Rather than seeing ourselves as separate, autonomous individuals, we may come to recognize that our true work in this world is not about personal fulfillment or the accumulation of wealth and status, but rather about aligning with the deeper currents of evolution and contributing to the blossoming of all life. This is not to say that we must sacrifice our own well-being or individuality in service of some higher, abstract cause. On the contrary, it is through the full integration and actualization of our unique gifts and talents that we can most effectively serve the greater good. It is about recognizing that our individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the flourishing of the whole, that the true measure of our success is not in what we can accrue or possess, but in how we can uplift, inspire, and empower those around us. And so, as we continue on this journey of transcendence and integration, let us hold fast to the vision of a world that is in harmony, a world that is thriving, a world that is alive with a boundless potential of human consciousness and divine wisdom. Let us trust in the intelligence that flows through us. Let us surrender to the rhythms that shape the greater whole, and let us commit ourselves, body and soul, to the sacred work of transformation that is unfolding all around us. For in doing so, we not only change the course of our own lives, but we also contribute to the healing and regeneration of the entire planet. We become catalysts for a new era of conscious, compassionate coexistence, one in which the divinity within each of us is honored, celebrated, and expressed in service of the greater good. This is the true power of embodied, infinite awareness, not just the attainment of individual enlightenment or the realization of personal desires, but the active, conscious participation in the unfolding of a more beautiful world.